Are you ready to navigate the new way to work? Forbes Books presents Dare to Care in the Workplace with Kathleen Quinn Botaw. Here's Kathleen.
Thank you for joining me once again for my discussion with Sean Taylor, a distinguished leader and a trusted advisor in the world of accounting and finance. We've been talking about how he developed his leadership skills over the course of more than 20 years, starting as an intern and eventually rising to the position of CEO at Smith & Howard Advisory. Sean, I'm really interested in the relationship between the CEO and their human resources leaders. You obviously partner with them, but can you share your perspective on human resources, which is in a bit of a crisis right now across America?
Yeah, absolutely. We have spent a great deal of time investing in what we call our people team. And we've really built that team up over the last several years to ensure that we have the resources on staff necessary to move people forward along their career path towards the goals that they have for themselves and obviously towards the goals that the firm has as well. We have a Chief Human Resource Officer, Carrie Ailes. Carrie and I work very closely. We meet consistently to go over what the stated goals are for the firm and for Carrie and the human resources team. We look very specifically at the vision of the human resources team. And in fact, that vision is created each year by each of our major departments to where it aligns with the vision of the firm. So, for example, the vision of Smith & Howard is to exponentially grow in all we do, to transform ourselves into a nationally recognized brand, while continuing our history of top performance to have a positive impact on the future generation. The people team's vision is to acquire and develop the best of the best talent to ensure the continued success of our firm and our people. And it aligns through employer branding, relationship building, talent development, reward and recognition, compensation and benefits, compliance and processes, you name it, all the drivers that are important to the people team feed up into their vision, which feeds up into the firm vision. So Carrie and I spend a great deal of time focusing on the strategic needs of our firm. We look ahead. We have strong team members that execute on the goals that we set every year for the Human Resources Department. And we make sure that those resources are there, all while ensuring that we remain agile and adaptable to things that can come up. So there's a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources spent on that. And then there again is that alignment back up towards the firm's vision and ultimately how it ties into our core values. So that's really how we focus on this and spend our time and energy to make sure that, you know, our human resources team is prepared and equipped to serve our team members.
But you partner with Carrie. It sounds like you meet with her quite regularly. You're the captain of the ship, and you make sure it's a number one priority. You don't just delegate it, right?
That's 100% correct. Let me give you a few examples of where I don't just delegate it. I work with them. So Carrie and I spend a great deal of time together. I'm getting periodic updates from her on what's going on with the team. If there are any critical matters that need to be focused and addressed, she will certainly loop me into those. But I also do things at an even different level to contribute to it. One of those things is exit interviews. So if someone's leaving the firm, I conduct an exit interview with anybody that's leaving the firm so that I can ask them the questions that are important for us to learn as they're exiting. But we also, over the years, have done stay interviews, which is basically the exit interview, but we're just doing it while the person is still here, still gainfully employed, and still engaged with us. I ask them the same exact questions, Kathleen, that I would in either
Mm-hmm.
meeting, but I'm the one
Awesome.
asking those questions. And so what that does is I think it takes the importance of what we're doing to a different level. Certainly, I could get Carrie, I could get anyone on her team to conduct these interviews, but the fact that I'm doing it, I think, lends itself to the person feeling important, to the whole process being important, and to everyone's understanding of that we are not going to sacrifice on what we invest in our people.
I think that's wonderful. Great examples of what somebody in the CEO seat can do. Because Sean and I are a member of an organization called Vistage International. Great organization, and I've learned a lot from it, Sean. I'm sure you have too over the years.
Tremendous amount. In
Yeah.
fact, I was just at my Vistage meeting yesterday, Kathleen, and I walked in and I was surprised. You know, we celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, and I had no idea that this was happening, but I showed up at the meeting, and Brian Slack, who you know, my Vistage chair, took a moment to celebrate that it was my 20th anniversary of being a part of Vistage yesterday, believe it or not.
Wow. Well, happy anniversary to you. That's awesome. That's great. We sit at the table with CEOs once a month. I've been a 15-year member. Sean has been a 20-year member. And we hear stories, kind of, what's going on in other companies, other industries. We're constantly investing in our learning. And that's magical. Vistage really helps you get out of your own way, I think. But what I hear a lot, and I speak to Vistage members all over the country, hey, I'm just going to delegate that. Isn't that HR's responsibility? They take care of the people part. But Sean, what you're saying emphatically is that it's my job to partner with them. It's my job to put people first.
Well, without a doubt, Kathleen, I think we all have to create teams and create leaders to effectuate positive and strong results. There's only so much that I can grow and scale if I try to do everything myself. Now, that being said, there's a difference between delegation and dumping, I guess is the way I would describe it. And I never want anyone to feel like there's something that I would not do for any individual in this firm, be it the things that I'm already processed to do, like exit interviews, stay interviews, but anything as it comes up. What is it that you would not do for someone that works for you? Hopefully that list is short, or actually there is nothing that you wouldn't do for the people that work for you. And I want that feeling to come across to all of our employees. So certainly there's things I rely upon Carrie and her team to do that I don't necessarily even know are getting executed, aspects and details of payroll and things like that related to compliance. But when it comes to the emotional intelligence piece related to our employees, I'm not delegating that. I'm relying upon our team to lead with that and use me and integrate me into the process to where it can have more impact and effect.
I love it. I love that quote. Don't delegate and dump. I'm gonna use that, Sean, from this moment on. Don't do the delegate and dump. That's gonna be a little soundbite. Um, so you've done also a really good job getting women back to work. I was researching for our conversation today. What if, 3.8 million women after the 2020, craziness and that continues, have kind of opted out of working. They haven't found a way back 100% yet because they were it was hard for them. They have elder people to take care of. They have younger people to take care of. And let's be truthful, usually it falls to the female in the family that does that. They're worried about education and what are our kids learning, and they want to have more oversight over that. So how has your firm helped them come back and really thrive? Because I think that's a really good lesson for people.
Kathleen, I think we learned a lot of lessons during the pandemic, and one of the lessons we learned was that we've got really smart, sophisticated employees at this firm who are capable of even more than we thought. And we learned that we could rely more and even trust more, if that's even possible, that they were capable of doing things without needing as much in the way, if you will, of oversight, in the way of monitoring, because they're professional and they bought into our core values and they knew what needed to get done and they executed upon it. We didn't lose productivity and effectiveness during COVID. If anything, we got better, even with the daunting responsibilities that came upon a lot of the women in our firm who had to do just what you described: take care of elderly, take care of their immediate family, take care of children, worry about the education components. All of that was going on. Well, simultaneously, they were still knocking it out of the park for the firm. What we learned was, I think you have to be flexible and move towards the needs of these strong women with what they have, both in the current sense of what they're working on and with the goals that they've set for themselves in the midterm and long term. We've always had excellent leadership at this firm, from strong women leaders, and we've got a great core group coming up that will be the future leadership of this firm, many of which are tremendous women at this firm. So what we've done is effectively gone towards them, not tried to pull them back to the way we were doing things. We shifted. We changed a little bit about what was the norm and what was required to be a professional at Smith & Howard, to adapt to the things we learned during COVID and to adapt to the needs that the women of our firm had for those things that were important in their lives. And I think that adaptation has only made us better.
Oh, I would agree 100%, because flexibility is the number one thing the people who work for U.S. companies want. And I just wrote a paper with Mark Emmer, who's also a Vistage speaker. He's a strategist, and it's called The Hybrid Gap. And, there's this huge gaping hole between what employers want and what employees need. Right. And so what you're saying is, the way you said it was eloquent, we're moving toward what they need and adapting to the new way we work versus fighting for what we used to have.
That's right. And I think, to credit our strong women leaders in this firm, they recognize that. And there's just this natural desire for them to also be open and transparent and honest about what they need, and to maybe even adapt a little bit back towards us, if that makes any sense. So it doesn't become this one-way street that we're moving 100% towards every single need that everyone has. We certainly do that with a vigor and an intent that is seen and clearly understood, and that makes people even more loyal to us and say, well, let me come a little bit towards you, where I may have thought I needed these 10 things to be able to do my job and advance and take care of my family's needs. But you know what? I really just need these 7 things, and I can sacrifice these other 3. And they're not sacrificing it begrudgingly. They're sacrificing it willingly because they see the intent and the commitment to them shown by the firm. And it makes them say, I want to show that same intent and commitment back to you. And it's really a dance, if you will, a harmony that we find with one another. And when it works, it's incredible.
Yeah, and it is, these are relationships, just like, your marriage, your relationship with your children. It's a big old compromise in life, So
Yep.
What do you need? And let me try my very best to come your way and you come my way. One of my mentors happens to be Sam Reese, the CEO of Vistage, and he taught me probably 10 years ago, Kath, he says to me, and he's very forceful, Kath, any negotiation both people have to walk away feeling like it's in the best interest of both parties. It's very emphatic. And that's what you're saying. What you found is, okay, here's what this population needs. This is what we can provide. And you met in the middle.
Absolutely. There's no question about it. But it starts with seeking to understand. If I can certainly allude to one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, we seek to understand what our employees need, and they seek to understand what our clients need and what our firm needs to be able to execute upon our goals. And once we better understand one another and once we effort to go towards their needs, that is really the largest step along the path towards a strong continuing relationship that's mutually beneficial to everyone involved.
Agreed. Shifting just a little bit, you had a really beautiful post on your LinkedIn about loss. Somebody wrote an article that you reposted about losing a loved one and grief. And I think, I lost my dad 7 years ago. I think you lost your daddy too. And grief is a real thing. And mental health is really, it is in the workplace right now, is on the rise. So what are you doing in your organization to address, I call it the FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. People are so nervous right now. They don't know what to do next. What are you doing to address that kind of mental health issue?
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Kathleen. And I love the FUD acronym that you provided there. I think we try to provide safety and security for our people as it relates to fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the firm. We try to remove that for them. So if any of their fear or any of their uncertainty or any of their doubt exists relative to Smith & Howard, its future, its goals, we immediately try to remove that from their list of things to worry about, because we don't want to add to their worries. We want to reduce or ease any type of list of things they might have to worry about. So we are constantly transparent about the goals of the firm, the progress of the firm, how we're doing, where we're headed, so that it removes all fear, uncertainty, and doubt from their minds about the firm. That's the first thing that we do right out of the chute. The second thing that we do is basically create resources for our employees who maybe have other aspects of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that are impacting their lives. It's such a fine line, as you know, Kathleen, because there's a privacy and a personal nature to this, but there's also health and healing and conversations that take place. Some of those things come out, just in the natural course of conversations, but many times they don't. We have a mentoring program here at the firm where we have mentors and mentees. That one-on-one relationship many times will uncover where the mentee is struggling with something, and many times that conversation is enough. But when it's not enough, we have employee assistance programs, and our people team really helps our employees, connecting them to the resources they need to help them through what they are battling. Many times along that spectrum, if we can just relate to the employee in any of these conversations that we're having, it alleviates so much of that fear, uncertainty, and doubt that it removes most of what they're concerned with. And then obviously, in the event that, as you referenced before, you lose a loved one, lose a parent, lose a spouse. We've had employees lose spouses, lose children, lose loved ones. Obviously, we give whatever rope is necessary. Nothing's more important. We can all pitch in and take care of whatever work responsibilities are necessary, be they to our clients or to our people, and essentially give that employee the time, the freedom to process that grief. And we really don't want anyone to rush back. We really want them to do the things that are necessary to do. And many times we grieve together, right? It's not just that you grieve over here by yourself until you're ready and then you come back. Many times we grieve with them as a part of their loss, and that that grieving process really is critical, and we will never shortcut that for any employee in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm. It's simple kindness, and when you work with people for so long, you grieve for them being in grief, so that's the right way to do it, Sean. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, what do you think's coming? Like, you're in accounting and finance and a super smart numbers person. We keep creating jobs. Everybody's, saying the recession is coming. I'm trying not to listen to them because I'm an optimist. What should business leaders, key leaders be thinking about as we go into the third and fourth quarter of 2023?
I think many times we talk ourselves into problems. And I think we might be trying to do that with this current recession talk it feels like it's been going on almost as long as the pandemic has been going on, right? We started that in January of 20, and I promise you, it's like we almost want to keep talking about this recession until it comes true, so that we could say, "See, I told you, we're going to have a recession." Frankly, I believe this. Certainly, there is some things you have to monitor and take a look at. What's the Fed going to do with interest rates? What sign does that mean? What sign does that show for the economy? I think the equity markets don't believe that a recession is coming. The bond markets probably do. So which one is right? Typically, the bond markets are right, but maybe the equity markets are right this time. I think that here's what I would say. Everyone stick to your core fundamentals, whatever they are. And if you do that, you can bridge or alleviate pretty much anything that will come. Every business is more or less subject to recessionary times than others. Our business is a little less subject to recessionary impact than, say, someone who's very focused in, say, large technology business. They're obviously subject to it a bit more than we are. I think know what your business is focused on. Stay true to your fundamentals. Keep an eye on what's going on. But I really think things are going to be fine. I don't see a large dip in front of us. If anything, I see a very minor setback from a recessionary standpoint. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was all talk and nothing more than that. I'm just like you. I'm a little more positive on the outlook, and I believe that if we stick true to our fundamentals and keep driving forward, we'll certainly outlast anything that's on the horizon relative to any type of recession that's possibly ahead of us.
I 100% agree. I totally believe in us. I believe in, the business community. We're plowing forward. We're going to continue to grow. And Sean, I could talk to you for hours, clearly. But I think we might have some other things to do in our life. But I've been talking to Sean Taylor, who is an exceptional leader and a good friend. And I really thank you for your insights today. I think people will really enjoy these episodes.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. As I said at the beginning, it's such a delight to be with you. I feel honored you would ask me to be a part of this, and I hope what we talked about today helps someone in any way possible. So it's been my pleasure to be with you.
And how can people find Smith & Howard if they need your services?
Well, absolutely. We are found in a variety of ways. You can find us on the web at smith-howard.com is the most direct way you can find us, and you can certainly contact me directly. My email is smith-howard.com. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Wonderful. Have a great day, Sean.
You too, Kathleen.
And I think that will do it for another episode of Dare to Care in the Workplace. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, make sure you take a second to subscribe so you automatically get my new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I'd love it if you could leave a review on Apple or Spotify so more folks like yourself can discover the show. Until we meet again.
This has been Dare to Care in the Workplace. To connect with Kathleen, go to KathleenQuinnBotaw.com. Kathleen's book, Dare to Care, is available wherever books are sold. Dare to Care in the Workplace is a production of Forbes Books.